At the start of the story, Leo's dad isn't just any fighter, he's the most. Every fighter in the city fears that no one can stand against him for long till now. That's why everyone in the city respects him. He also wanted to be like him. That's because Leo has asthma. He could get really sick. But Leo dreamed of becoming a great fighter just like his father. Dad's training and practiced a little, and one day in their town, and Leo's father accepts the challenge. When the fight starts, matching each other move for move, but after a while, he switches up his fighting style, and with Leo's dad's skills, the guy in front starts to weaken, and everyone there thought, and that's exactly how it was going, totally wrecking him, and gets really close to winning. He suddenly stops because that hit could have killed the other guy, though, and taking advantage of Leo's dad's kindness, winning the fight, and Leo's dad's students were really upset about his loss. Why he did that, Leo was really upset because his father, Leo, but today, seeing his dad lose, the son of the fighter who cheated and beat, saying, just like my dad beat yours, hearing this, Leo turns red with anger and accepts but Leo's friend stops him. We see a kid named Leo quietly watching his dad train in martial arts. Dangerous fighter in the whole city. Leo's dad, because he's so fast and sharp, no one has ever managed to beat Leo's dad. And Leo also looks up to his dad, seeing his father's winning awards, but his dad always kept him away from martial arts. And if he trains hard in martial arts, Leo's dad told him to stay away from it. That's why he secretly copied his bit every day. A new fighter comes along and directly challenges Leo's father to a fight. Leo was pretty happy about this fight because he knew his dad was going to win. Both fighters go head to head. Leo's dad realizes the other guy isn't going to give up, which totally throws the other fighter off. Seeing this, the people in the crowd begin cheering loudly. Leo's dad was going to win the fight easily. Leo's dad keeps hitting the other fighter hard. But just as Leo's dad is about to land the finishing blow, the fighter in front was a really terrible person. He suddenly attacked him and tricked him by throwing Leo's dad out of the ring. But everyone there knew this fighter won by cheating. Still, everyone also knew that Leo's dad had lost on purpose. We'll find out later. Meanwhile, had never lost a fight until now. He's completely broken. Just then, Leo's dad comes up to him and challenges him. I'm gonna beat you the same way. Challenge to crush that guy's arrogance, telling him not to fight because Leo isn't fully ready yet. He wasn't ready. But in anger, Leo lost control and stepped into the ring to fight that guy. Then the fight between them started. Since Leo wasn't well trained, he couldn't fight that guy properly, and the other guy beat him up badly. In the end, the guy threw Leo out of the ring and won the match. But even after winning, that guy didn't stop. He stood on Leo and humiliated him badly. At that moment, Leo he feels guilty and vows that from now on, he'll train so hard that he'll never lose a fight again. And if he ever does lose, that day will be the last day of his life. After that, Leo goes to a library with his friend, and they pick up a book that has all the martial arts techniques written in it. Since Leo has asthma, his father can't train him. So Leo starts teaching himself martial arts by studying the book. But when he got back home, his father scolded him for learning martial arts and warned him never to fight anyone again. But Leo wanted to restore his family's lost honor, so he ignored everyone and started training in martial arts secretly, hiding it from his father. Leo practiced so hard that he even neglected his schoolwork. Seeing this, his friend started doing his school assignments for him, while Leo kept practicing day and night without even eating or drinking properly. After many days of hard work, when Leo felt he was fully ready, he went straight to the same guy who had beaten him last time and challenged him to a fight. The fight started between them. This time, since Leo had trained well, the other guy couldn't hold up against him for long, and Leo easily defeated him. After winning, Leo was so happy that he ran through the streets, shouting and telling everyone about his victory. Then the scene cuts, and a few years later, let's fast forward to the part where Leo has grown up and gotten married. He also has a cute little daughter now, but his father has passed away and only his mother is still alive. Here, we find out that Leo isn't the same guy he used to be. Now he's the most dangerous fighter in town. He's never lost a fight and is pretty famous all over the city. Everyone respects Leo, and no one's brave enough to challenge him. Because whenever someone tries to face him in a fight, if Leo wanted to fight, he would beat them so badly that the other guy wouldn't be able to stand up again. That's why Leo, just like his dad, is pretty famous all over the city, but all the crowds following him around and the respect people gave him spoiled Leo. Now he's gotten really arrogant because, unlike his dad who lived a simple, normal life despite having everything, Leo thinks of himself as super powerful and doesn't respect anyone at all. Leo is always wasted on alcohol and keeps giving his followers free drinks for no reason. Sometimes he drinks so much that he forgets the way back home. He blew all his money on pointless stuff and partying. Because of this, he owes a ton of money to the hotel owner, who happens to be Leo's childhood friend, the same guy who used to help him with schoolwork. Now, that friend has become a big businessman and owns his own hotel. Leo's childhood friend, he keeps an eye on the overspending, but since Leo is his childhood friend, he doesn't say anything to him about it. However, Leo takes advantage of his friend's kindness by not only eating and drinking for free himself, but also treating his followers to everything without paying the hotel owner a single penny. Seeing all this, the hotel owner feels really bad because Leo's followers are exploiting him. One day, the hotel owner's manager comes to him. The manager tells the hotel owner that the hotel is losing money because Leo and his followers are eating and drinking for free every day, and it's hurting the hotel's savings. Hearing this, the hotel owner, who's also Leo's childhood friend, gets upset and goes straight to Leo. He kindly explains to him, "Look, Leo, this can't go on anymore. What you're doing by feeding your followers for free at my hotel is wrong. You're my childhood friend, and I'm not saying you can't have anything free from my hotel. I will do it. But what you're doing by feeding your followers for free at my hotel, it's not right. Your followers are taking advantage of you. They follow you just because you give them free food. But the day you stop feeding and treating them for free, your fake followers will leave you. So you need to stop all this now, and you're not following your father's path. Remember, this path can get you into trouble." But Leo, my friend, he doesn't pay much attention to what's being said and just ignores his friend, walking away from there. The next day, Leo is out in the city with his followers when another fighter and his crew show up in front of them. This fighter's name is King. King is an amazing fighter, and like Leo, he's never lost a fight till now. Because of this, both of them are famous all over the city for their skills. But this constant rivalry was eating away at Leo because he wanted the whole city to be ruled by him alone. However, Leo has to face King in a fight. And until Leo beats King in a fight, no one considers him the greatest fighter in the city. So, on the way, Leo starts messing around with King for no reason. But King wasn't in the mood to fight anymore and had actually given up fighting. So King doesn't say anything to Leo and quietly walks away. But Leo is still pissed off and takes out his anger on his students during training. The very next day, some of Leo's followers bring one of his students to him on a stretcher who... He gets badly injured, and Leo's injured student tells him that King beat him up. The student says King did it because yesterday Leo was rude to King on the street. King couldn't take revenge on Leo, so he took it out on the student instead. Hearing this, Leo gets really angry and decides to go after King to avenge his student. Meanwhile, King is celebrating his birthday with his family at a restaurant owned by Leo's childhood friend. When Leo finds out King is at the hotel, he heads straight there. He shows up and challenges the King to fight in front of his family. But the King refuses to fight and says, "Today's my birthday and I want to spend it peacefully with my family. So please just leave." But Leo doesn't listen and keeps insulting the King in front of everyone. That's when Leo's childhood friend comes over and tries to reason with him, saying, "If you start a fight with the King inside this hotel, it's going to cause me a lot of trouble. It's gonna happen because a lot of stuff in the hotel is going to get broken during the fight. So please just quietly leave from here." But Leo was super angry and even started insulting his friend. On top of that, he ended their childhood friendship. Then Leo tells King, either accept my challenge for a fight or kneel down in front of me. Right here in front of everyone. After repeatedly humiliating King in front of his family, King finally agrees to the fight. After that, the hotel is cleared out. Everyone leaves, King and Leo, inside the hotel and steps outside. Then a fight breaks out between Leo and King. Since both are pretty skilled, the fight gets really intense. They're evenly matched, going blow for blow, and the fight goes on for quite a while. But neither is ready to back down. In a fit of anger, Leo lands a deadly blow on King, one that goes against his father's rules. But King is a tough fighter and manages to block every hit from Leo. Leo got really angry seeing that, and he couldn't control his anger. He gave the King one last powerful hit right on his heart, and it was so deadly that the King died on the spot. When Leo stepped out of the restaurant, his followers started celebrating his victory. But when the King's followers saw their leader's dead body, they became very sad and burned with the fire of revenge. After a while, when Leo was near his house, when he got there, he saw lots of footprints heading towards his house. When Leo reached the door and called out for his mother, he didn't hear a sound from inside. When he stepped inside, he noticed all the lights were off. Then, when he went to his mom's room, he found her dead body lying there. Seeing this, Leo was completely shocked and quickly tried to take care of his mom's body. That's when we realized that the King's followers had taken revenge on their master by targeting Leo's mother. He killed her. Now, while Leo is crying over his mom's death, he suddenly thinks about his daughter and rushes to her room. When he gets there, he sees that they have brutally killed his daughter too. Leo picks her up in his arms and starts crying. At this point, Leo has no one left in the world, and he's completely shattered by the loss of his mom and daughter. Fueled by a burning desire for revenge, he sets off, angry and determined, to kill the King's family. Heading straight to the King's house, as soon as he arrives, he kills the King's son first. Then, when he goes to kill the King's wife and daughter, the King's wife tells Leo that neither she nor her daughter did anything wrong. She says that if he wants to calm his anger, he can kill her but should spare her daughter. Hearing this, Leo's anger cools down a bit, and he realizes that the King's wife and daughter aren't to blame. So Leo lets them live and leaves the place. Now, as he's on his way back home when his followers catch up to him, they bring the same guy in front of Leo, the one the King had beaten up badly a few days ago. Leo had fought the King and killed him because of this guy. But now, Leo finds out the whole truth. His followers tell him that the King only hit the guy because he was behaving badly with the King's wife, which made the King angry. Hearing this, Leo feels really sad because he fought the King. Without knowing the real reason, he had gone there to kill. But King was actually innocent. In the heat of anger, Leo also ended up killing King's innocent son. At this moment, Leo remembers what his childhood friend, who now owns a hotel, had told him. He'd warned Leo that his followers would get him into big trouble, and it turned out to be true. Now Leo even abandons his own followers because he realizes he was backing the wrong people. At this point, Leo has no close ones left in his life. Even his childhood friend has cut ties with him. Now inside, completely broken, Leo leaves the city and sits in a boat that's docked by a river outside town. The boat slowly starts moving along the river. Leo has no idea where it's taking him, and eventually, it brings him to a deserted part of the forest. There, Leo decides to live. Days pass, then months, and after 6 whole months, when we see Leo again, we realize he's not the same guy anymore. He's completely changed. His beard, mustache, and hair have all grown out. Leo, fed up with his life, decides to end it all. He jumps into the water, planning to drown himself. Just as he's about to die, some fishermen from a nearby village spot him and save him. They take him back to their village, where everyone takes really good care of him. After a few days, Leo regains consciousness, but he's so deeply shaken that he doesn't get better. Seeing his condition, the villagers eventually give up on him, thinking he's beyond help. They thought Leo was done for, that he couldn't be saved. But there's a girl from the village named Moon who doesn't give up. She takes really good care of Leo. See, Moon is blind, she can't see with her eyes, but she has a heart of gold. She's always looking after Leo, making sure he eats and drinks. Because of her care, Leo starts getting better. One day, Moon sees Leo's long hair and says, "Come on, let me cut your hair." And that's when Leo finally gathers the courage. After many days, he finally stands on his own feet and steps outside the house. Then Moon takes Leo to the river, cuts his hair and beard, and brings him back to his old look. Because Moon takes such good care of Leo, he starts feeling attached to her, and they begin to like each other. Leo also decides that he will spend the rest of his life here with these people. He starts helping the villagers with their daily work. But Leo never reveals his true identity to anyone. Leo, who used to be a martial arts master, started living like an ordinary person just like everyone else. One day, a kid from the village was caught stealing some stuff from a nearby village. This made the village leader really angry, and he decided to punish the kid for stealing. The boy's grandmother asked the leader to forgive him, but the leader wasn't in the mood to pardon the kid. He said it's the rule of the village that anyone who steals has to be punished. Then here, Leo steps forward and tells Sardar, "Punish me instead of the kid and let this kid go to his grandma." Sardar agrees to this, but on one condition. He says, "I'll let the kid go, but you have to fight me because kids and adults get punished differently." Leo agrees to fight Sardar, so the two start fighting. The village leader throws a bunch of punches at Leo, but Leo just defends himself and doesn't strike back. Now, here, if Leo wanted, he could have knocked Sardar out with just one punch. But Leo doesn't do that. On the other hand, Sardar lands several heavy blows on Leo, knocking him down to the ground and injuring him. Then the villagers tell Leo that he shouldn't just focus on defending himself. He needs to hit back at Sardar to make it a fair fight. So, using his fighting skills, Leo turns the tables in just a few moves, breaks Sardar's confidence, and Sardar admits defeat. Along with that, Sardar, seeing such impressive fighting skills, everyone praises Leo a lot, and for the first time, the villagers realize that Leo isn't an ordinary guy, but a really good fighter. After that, everyone starts respecting Leo a lot. One day, Moon takes Leo along to visit her parents' grave, which reminds Leo of his own parents. Now that Leo's mental state had improved, he decides to go back to his city so he can visit his daughter and his parents' grave. When Leo tells Moon about going to the city, Moon doesn't try to stop him. Instead, she tells Leo to have a safe journey and says she'll be waiting for him to come back. Leo promises Moon that he will return for her. After that, Leo sets off for his city. But as soon as he enters, he sees that the city has changed a lot, and now people from other countries have started living there. Leo finds out that after he left, no one powerful remains in the village. There was no one left for people to fear, because Leo had even killed the king. With no leader left to scare them, people went on a rampage across the whole city, leaving it in ruins. Meanwhile, the English took control of the city, and now the English, along with people from a few other countries, rule over it. After that, Leo heads back home, and when he knocks on the door, the servant, who's still taking good care of the house, opens it and is really surprised to see Leo back. Leo feels happy, then goes to visit his family's grave. In front of his father's grave, he breaks down crying and asks for forgiveness because he didn't follow his father's rules and thought of himself as some powerful person. After that, Leo leaves and goes straight to the king's house, where he apologizes to the king's wife, telling her that it's because of him that the king is no longer in this world. Then, in front of the king's photo, he bows his head, regretful of his mistakes. After apologizing to the king's family, Leo heads straight towards his childhood. Leo goes to his friend's place, who owns a hotel, and tells him, "Everything you told me has actually happened to me, but I'm not the same anymore. I've changed for the better, so please forgive me." Hearing this, Leo's friend, who has a good heart, forgives him. Later, while roaming around the city, Leo finds a newspaper and learns that a fighter named Hercules is challenging everyone in China to a fight. Hercules is incredibly powerful, and no one can stand against him for long. No fighter could last long, and after Leo left, Hercules was the best fighter in town. Now Leo wanted to fight Hercules, but Leo didn't have any money. Then Leo's childhood friend gave him some cash, and Leo entered the fight. A few days later, the day of the match arrived. Here we see Hercules, who is super strong and way bigger than Leo. But Leo isn't scared, and their fight begins. Since Leo hadn't practiced for a long time, he started getting weaker, and the other fighter kept picking Leo up and throwing him around. But Leo didn't give up. As soon as Leo realized the guy was getting tired, he showed what he's made of and went all out on him. Finally, with one powerful punch from Leo, the fighter started falling out of the ring. Just as the guy's neck was about to hit a sharp iron spike, Leo slid his foot under the fighter's body and saved him. Seeing this, the fighter quietly thanked Leo in his mind and realized, I can't cheat with such an honorable fighter. He could. So out of respect for Leo, he gives up because he knew that if Leo hadn't saved me from that sharp iron nail, I could have been killed. After that, Hercules raises Leo's hand in front of everyone and once again crowns him the champion of the city. And Leo's name echoes throughout the city once more. Everyone finds out that Leo is back in town, and right after arriving, he defeated the city's strongest fighter. Now, Leo opens an academy again here and starts training many people from China in martial arts so that the Chinese people want to become powerful and raise their voices for their rights. But on the other hand, the British who took over China aren't happy at all about Leo coming back because they wanted to keep the Chinese people as their slaves. With Leo around, these people are losing their grip. So now, they've all decided that they need to bring in a fighter who can kill Leo. Then, a Japanese guy says, I know a fighter who can easily beat Leo, and after beating him, the whole city feared us. And then these people announced all over that Leo had to fight a fighter. If Leo beat this fighter, he would become the city's champion. And Leo accepted this fight. Finally, the day came when the fight was supposed to happen, and thousands of people showed up to watch the match between Leo and the other fighter. Even dictators from other countries trying to take over the city were there. But the rules of this fight were a bit different. Leo had to, first, they make Leo fight 3 fighters, and dictators do this to drain his energy, so that he's weak by the time the final fight comes around. But Leo wasn't some newbie. In just a few minutes, he beats all 3. When it's time for the final fighter, someone the dictators brought specifically to take Leo down. It turns out this guy is actually a good person who hates cheating. So he tells Leo, you just fought 3 fighters back to back. No wonder you're drained. Got it. So now I fight the first 3 fighters to build up the same energy you'll have when you fight me. And hearing such a genuine thing from his opponent surprises Leo a lot. He realizes this fighter is honest. So Leo tells him he doesn't need to fight the 3 first. He can fight Leo with the same energy right away. After getting Leo's permission, the fighter gets ready for the fight. Then both fighters pick up their favorite weapons. They start fighting right then and there. Both fighters are so skilled that they end up matching each other blow for blow. They handle their weapons so expertly that everyone watching is amazed by the fight. They throw some seriously dangerous attacks at each other, but neither of them is willing to back down. At one point during the fight, their weapons actually switch between them. Leo gets really good with the sword. He was holding his ground, but the other fighter just couldn't control Leo's weapon properly. Now, Leo could have easily beaten that guy if he wanted to, but Leo didn't do that because to him, it would have been cheating. So Leo stops the fight and hands the sword back to the other fighter. Then they start fighting again. Watching from another country, the dictators realize that Leo isn't one to give up no matter what. So the Japanese dictator starts planning on how to defeat Leo. After a long fight between the two, the first round ends and the match is tied. So no winner is declared. But when Leo sits down on a chair to rest and drinks from his bottle, it turns out the Japanese dictator had already poisoned that drink. At first, Leo doesn't feel any effects, but as soon as the second round starts, the poison slowly begins to take its toll. Leo starts feeling dizzy, and before anyone knows it, he suddenly begins vomiting blood, shocking everyone who sees it. The second fighter stops the fight and realizes that there's a deliberate plan to kill Leo, and this really doesn't sit well with him, that these dictators want to take out such a great fighter just for their own gain. Meanwhile, Leo's condition is getting worse, and he desperately needs to be in a hospital. But Leo understands that the poison the dictators gave him has already spread throughout his body, and now there's no way he can survive. So Leo decides that if he's going to die, he's going to do it with pride. That's why he gets ready to fight again. The dictators here had already decided they wanted Leo taken down, so without even checking if Leo was okay, they let the match start. After that, the fight between the two begins again. This time, Leo throws himself into the fight with everything he's got, landing several powerful blows on the other fighter. Leo was fighting so fast that the other guy didn't even get a chance to attack him. And in the end, Leo lands a strong punch right on the other guy's chest. The guy was about to hit, but then he stopped himself because he remembered that with this very punch, he had taken the king's life, so he didn't want to take anyone else's life again. And Leo held back his punch right there. That's when we realize why, at the start of the story, Leo's father stopped his war against the opponent fighter. Following his dad's rule, Leo also lets the other fighter go. Meanwhile, the other fighter understood that if Leo's punch had landed on him, he wouldn't have survived. But still, Leo spared his life. As soon as he understood everything, the fighter himself raised Leo's hand and declared him the winner of the fight. But then Leo collapses and dies. The other fighter, showing respect to Leo, bows his head and then goes straight to the dictator, starting to insult him. At the end of the movie, we see Leo's soul appearing in front of Moon, performing his fighting skills. Moon, who previously couldn't see anything, now clearly sees Leo right in front of her. And that's how the story ends. Based on a true story, the movie just ended. If you liked this video, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and give the video a thumbs up.